Breakfast with Bob. Breakfast with Bob.
Honcho man, everybody. Welcome back to day 3. Breakfast with Bob from Kona and Huggo's on the Rocks. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Master Spas. SFuels go longer. HOKA Let's Fly. deboer wetsuits. Form Smart Swim Goggles. Zoot Sports, the original triathlon brand. Quintana Roof Premium Plus Sports. And of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next Maja Stage Nielsen joins us. This has become an annual get-together. So great to see you again.
Yeah, I'm happy to see you too.
Well, and we got to chat in Oceanside, where we had my favorite thing ever, the French toast donuts.
I'll never forget those.
They were pretty amazing, right?
They were. I would come back just for those.
That's very cool. Okay, so this year, 14th 70.3 Worlds, 20th at the PTO US Open, 5th at Frankfurt. That was a good race. Talk a little bit about the Frankfurt experience.
Yeah, Frankfurt was like one of those races that I always wanted to do.
Yes.
European Championship and like super nice course, and I think I was a bit too excited. Went a bit hard in the first half of the bike.
Yeah.
Caught the front and then had to slow down.
Well, but the deal is you don't know what you can do until you have the guts to go to the front,
yes.
Right? I mean, you could sit back and hope you have a good run, or you can try to be part of the race.
Yes, and it's so much more fun to be a part of the race, and that's my goal for every race.
Right.
And I'm happy about that race because I learned a lot, and it gave me confidence for other races too.
What did you learn from that?
That it's okay to try,
yes.
And also that my bike level is improving. And still that I can survive a run even though I've been biking hard.
Right. And when I look at Ironman Texas, well, you get second there, right? That's cool. And you ran 3 flat. That's okay, because the goal is obviously you want to get 255, 250. You want to become that type of runner.
Yeah, like I think 3 flat is kind of a benchmark.
Yes.
And that's the run I've been waiting for as well.
Right.
And yeah, Texas was a very cool race, and I had so much fun racing, and really that's one that will stay with me.
Well, in the year before, in 2022, you went to both of the Ironmans, right? You got 10th at Worlds in St. George, 3:07. And then you come to Kona, 3:16. That's not the run you want, but that's not the run you want. But everything else was right there, 57, 4:55. You did everything else you wanted to do. How do you feel you did in that race?
I feel like I had a very tough day here last year, and I very much want to change that feeling.
You want to change the narrative. What did you feel you did wrong?
Well, I just had a day where, everything just feels hard.
Right.
And obviously it is a tough race, but there's still a difference in, okay, this is hard and I can keep pushing, and something happens if I try to push compared to this is hard, I don't know how I'm going to continue.
So the other race that impressed me is you come off of Kona, and I don't know if you were planning to do Israel afterwards, but you finished on a high note, getting a 5th at Ironman Israel. And again, 59-minute swim and 3:09 run and 9:01, just close to that 9:09. And that's a tough course. I remember talking to Patrick Lange and Sebastian Kienle after that race, and they're like, the bike is hard, the run is hard, there's not one easy part of that race.
Yeah, and we had so bad weather.
I heard rain, right, the whole day?
Yeah, like they have like 5 days of rain a year or something like that.
And they were all on that day.
Yeah, and they were like, but it's a blessing when it's raining. And we're like, okay, we feel lucky then.
So, I mean, you've been so consistent here, 12th, 15th, 11th, and then that was 17, 18, 19, and then this last year, 12th again. So there's something about this race, obviously you've been very consistent, but knowing you know there's more.
Yeah, and I feel like I've been just, St. George I had my top 10, but other than that I've just outside, and I want to break into top 10.
That's the goal.
And I feel like it should be possible. So
there's no question it can be possible. So what race do you feel that you had sort of told you could be one of the best?
Texas for sure was one of them.
Texas was one of them.
I've raced earlier in Texas too, and had a good result there. Like one of my first, I think it was my second Ironman. And in general, I feel like when I race full distance races, this is where I'm most competitive. But I still like to mix it up and do, like, I did the 70.3 worlds as well.
Yes.
And I like to mix it up and do like shorter races to just get out of comfort zone and improve in like all three disciplines, getting faster and faster and bring it into the long course.
So Hamburg was at 18, where you went, you got third at Hamburg, right?
Yeah.
And then Cozumel, you got second 2019. So you have that. You know you can be podium.
I've had quite a few podiums. I'm still waiting for the win though.
You have not had your first win yet.
No, not in an Ironman race.
So you were a professional golfer before you got into this silly stuff. What was it? When did you make the transition? How hard was that? Because golf isn't necessarily known as the greatest endurance event.
No, but I think you can bring a lot with you anyway, and I think the transition is more in my personality.
Right.
Like a lot of the stuff, like I am the person I am because of golf. And it taught me so much, and a lot of those things I use on a daily basis. I just don't think about it.
Well, because dedication, right?
Yeah.
Every day you got to get up, got to hit balls. You got to be precise.
Yeah.
You've got to be patient.
Yeah, and you have to pay attention to details.
All the details,
yeah.
especially in golf. Mm-hmm. You're like a quarter of an inch off the way you're set up or your club face, and the ball's going all over the place.
Yeah.
So when did you make that decision to go from golf to triathlon?
I played European Championships in 2009.
Okay.
And after that, I went to Club Los Angeles, called the national team coach and said, I'm going, and I like to quit the team. And he said, okay, but let me know if you change your mind and you can come back. I just never called him again.
Did you have the feeling when you first got into triathlon, it was always going to be long distance? You weren't going to go for the shorter distance races?
No, I would love to do short course. My swimming has just never been good enough.
Right.
Now it's improving, but it's still nowhere near being good enough for short distance.
So we were interviewing Christian Blumenfeld a couple weeks ago at Super League, and he was talking about how most races he goes into, there's 90% chance he can win the race. When he goes to Super League, because it's so short and so fast, and all of his weaknesses, transition, accelerating out of corners, all those are all exposed during Super League. But even though he's got maybe a 20% chance to win, it's important for him to go there to learn to work on his weaknesses.
Yeah,
and this year,
and it also makes him perform at his best because that's what he knows is necessary.
Right.
And I think, it's a cool approach. If you want to get better, you have to do stuff like that.
Well, and a lot of times though, it can be intimidating because you're going to you did the European Open, US Open, the PTO events, and you've got Olympians, right? You've got Olympians and people who are all about fast twitch. You are more of a diesel. You're going to go long. How intimidating was that going to the starting line at those races?
Well, very much, but at the same time, also very cool because I feel like I want to develop as much as I can as an athlete.
Right.
And I think this like completes the package a bit more. And I also like to challenge myself. Maybe not always in the moment, but in general, yes.
And you get 20th at the US Open, 21st at the European Open, so you know, okay, if I move up a few spots next year in those events.
Yeah, and I feel like I haven't performed to my best in those events.
Right.
Like the Europeans was like 2 weeks out of Texas.
Oh my God.
I came back to Europe, had jet lag, and then 2 weeks after an Ironman tried to perform.
Against all the short course people.
Yes, exactly. So that was like, but as long as I know that when I go into the event,
right.
so my expectations is set, then it's okay.
And it's almost like you're playing with house money when you go and do those races because you're not expecting to win the race.
No.
And the other folks aren't expecting you to win the race. So whatever you get out of that race is a positive.
Yeah.
That is so cool. What are your expectations here now that is this your 5th or 6th time racing here?
5th time here, 6th.
6th with St. George.
Yeah.
What are your expectations?
Top 10, and I kind of like top 8.
Top 10, and I like top 8. I like that. How have you improved over the last couple years as a triathlete?
I feel like a lot.
Yeah.
Especially my swim and bike is getting better.
Yes.
And that is what I feel like I've needed. So.
Very cool. How has the sport been growing in Denmark?
We had a peak basically when I started triathlon, and because Ironman suddenly came to Copenhagen.
Yes.
And everybody had to do an Ironman. But I think the level around the top athletes and the amount of elite athletes has grown a lot.
Right.
And that's what we need to build like the foundation for then the sport to grow even more.
Yeah, when you've got Magnus and Daniel and you've got so many top guys, Mickey, it's getting
so
deeper
many
and
long
deeper.
Distance. And we even have like a few more short distance guys now that might qualify for the Olympics or will qualify for the Olympics, pretty sure. So I think that's also gives you like, then it's not only long distance, and then we can attract more young people into the sport as well.
What is it about this course? What do you think is about this course that suits your strengths?
That is a tough course.
You like that? Tough is good?
Yeah, I like the wind.
Has it been windy while you've been here training?
Not like Kona windy or Hawaii windy.
Yes.
But we had a bit of a feeling of it.
Yes.
And I think just the combination of everything here is making it tough.
The history,
anyway.
just all of and also it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
This is my office, by the way. This is a pretty sweet place to be.
Yeah.
Best of luck to you. Have a great race. And one of these days we got to set something up where we do the Ironman on Saturday, and then we do a golf tournament on Sunday.
Yeah, we missed the guys to do that, right?
Well, hopefully one of these. We'll just do it with the women. We'll do a women's Ironman and a women's golf tournament. That'd be pretty fun. You in?
Yes.
Maja Stage Nielsen has been our guest, everybody. Pancho Man, take us out.
Aloha, everybody. It's breakfast with Bob. Get ready, everybody. It's breakfast with Bob. Breakfast with Bob. Breakfast with Bob.
Pancho Man. Thank you, Pancho.